7:39 at KPL Acadiana's Morning News.
I was goofing off. I'm sorry.
Bernie, I just need you to focus, okay? I realize Jackie's in here and she's a terrible influence on you. But you just have to focus. Good morning, Jaci Russo. It's Monday.
Good morning. It is Monday.
So it's sort of interesting. We don't pick the music as it happens.
No.
It rotates. It picks. But you don't want the rumor about your business to be that you're out of touch, old, stale, and everything.
Yeah. True that.
We should actually. We're going to come back to what you did for Thanksgiving. We'll save that until the end.
Just because I won the holiday.
You won Thanksgiving. But tell us about taking a second look at your brand and maybe refreshing it and redoing it.
Sure. So think about in your own personal life. You know, you're supposed to clean out your closets every once in a while. A little spring cleaning, a little fall cleaning.
Yep.
You would not
break up with some people.
Yeah, definitely. Cleanse your social media feed. Cleanse your friend list. You would probably not be caught dead walking around in something that you bought in the 70s or 80s to wear.
Yep.
You wouldn't still be wearing it today. It probably still wouldn't fit.
Yes.
For most of us.
Yes. Okay.
Well, same thing. You've got your brand, your most important asset, walking around in a logo that you bought for it in 1976.
Yeah.
It's time to change your clothes. There is a business in town, and I will not even name the kind of industry because I don't want people to guess. Their brochure was done, and I am not kidding, in 1992.
Wow.
And so a couple things that I know about it. Number one, the people of the company whose pictures are in the brochure do not look the same. There is less hair, and it is a different color.
No.
Number two, some of the models in the brochure I don't think are still alive. I mean, you know, like I think they've moved on.
Yeah.
So you got to think, you know, is it time to refresh? Is it time to update? If you are excited that your website has lasted since 2004, let me assure you it hasn't. It's been dead for a few years. You just didn't hear the monitor go beep. So it's about refreshing and updating. You've got to do that cleansing. You got to clean out the closet. Get rid of the things that what's the rule? If you haven't worn it in a year, toss it? Mm-hmm. Okay, well, if you haven't updated your logo in a couple of years, time to refresh it. Your website, your brochure, all of your collateral materials.
I love to look at Coke cans. You know, living in Atlanta, they have an awesome museum.
Oh, I love that place.
And, marketing. Totally. I brought my dad who does marketing, and he just everything he could look at it, just soak it all in. But if you look at their Coke cans, you can see a Coke can and say, this was a 90s Coke can. Mm-hmm. Even though you would recognize the scroll C, script C, you'd recognize it, but it still looks like an old, there's nothing fresh about it. You look at the ones with Santa, the first ones when they started, he just looks old and,
right.
I mean,
decrepit.
Exactly. But then you look at what's now, and it's still the same. You don't lose the identity, but it's new and it's
about
fresh.
The evolution. And so people often, and it's funny to me because they talk about the Coca-Cola logo and say, it's been the same for 200 years. Why do I have to update it? I'm saying, no, it has not.
Yeah.
They evolve it regularly to stay current, to not be trendy, to be timeless. They have to update. Mm-hmm. Same thing with fashion. Same thing with your brand. And it's not just logos, although that is obviously the biggest forebearer of your brand. It is everything that has to do with your business. It's your sign out front. It's the way you answer the phones. It's your sales processes. You need to, and this is the perfect time of year to do it. At the end of the year, it's a great time to take stock. Sit back, look around, and really from an outsider's perspective say, do we use too much industry lingo? Do we talk too much internal? And people who aren't in our industry, which your customers are not in your industry, they have no idea what you're saying when you rattle off these acronyms.
I think it's interesting as someone who's building a house and I have to deal with vendors and look at lighting companies and look at different things. When I go to a website that's either hard to navigate because I just feel like older websites, people used to just cram so much on it that, let's just put everything on one page. So I'm clicking around, I'm seeing everything. I like a clean, just give me a list. Let me break it down. Like, I just want to see where it says gallery.
Right.
And then that will bring me to something else. I don't need to have 800 pictures on the first page.
Right.
So I do think it's important, even as you just look at your competition too, right? I mean, shouldn't you see, if you are a travel agent, shouldn't you look at the rest of them in the city or in the market just to see what they have?
Absolutely. And you also need to pay attention to, are you mobile friendly? Are you search engine optimized? I mean, it's all those things that we've talked about in the past. But so this is it. You have 1 month left until the end of the year.
Yes.
now is the time. Your business, unless you're in retail, your business has slowed down a little bit. People are kind of starting into that holiday slide from Thanksgiving to New Year's. They don't really work as hard as they did the other 11 months of the year.
Can we meet? Yeah, how does January 5th sound?
Right, exactly. Okay. So now is the perfect time to really take stock. And so just as you would spring clean the warehouse or your closet at home, you need to do that with your brand.
Great. I think that's a great tip. And you have a 4 weeks. You can get something rolling.
Oh my gosh.
If it's, because you don't have to start from the ground up.
Right.
Obviously, look at a logo, like if we're going to talk about logos, Ford, okay?
Sure.
Look at it in a magazine from the 90s. It's going to be a flat, blue, whatever, Ford oval. Now you fast forward to 2015, and now we can make things look 3D.
Right.
Give it some give it some depth. And I think that's what we're kind of seeing.
Yeah, it's time. It's just time to modernize and freshen it up. And it's not about throwing it away. It's about refreshing. It's about updating. If you're still wearing that bright blue eyeliner from 1978 and the eyeshadow, then, it's time to refresh.
I'm with you.
Meet a brown.
So we said earlier in the segment that you won Thanksgiving.
I did.
We're getting the trophy made.
Yes.
Where were you for Thanksgiving while we were fighting with our families and chasing kids around?
Well, when I left, my family, the 6 of us, when we left town, it was 34 degrees in Lafayette, rainy, gross, and y'all were heading into Turkey and Black Friday fights.
Yes.
We got on a boat and sailed the Caribbean and did Cozumel, Grand Cayman, and Jamaica.
Wow.
That sounds like a great Thanksgiving.
The kids love it because, there's no electronics. We completely check out. We were very in the moment, in the holiday, and we ate every meal together, and we liked each other. It took about an hour from when we got back for all that to dissolve.
And now they all hate you again.
Yes, normal teenage life has resumed.
Yes.
But it was really nice, and we enjoyed it, and having somebody else make food for us and clean up after us. And the kids ate ice cream for breakfast, I'm sure, almost every day, but it was okay. They all enjoyed it.
Love that.
Yeah.
I love a cruise.
Yeah.
I have to do one.
I vote yes.
They're so affordable.
Well, that's what I tell people. If you break down the per day that you're paying and look at what you would pay just for your hotel per night, it's hands down. And there are people, because I'm a fan of the midnight buffet. That may be a surprise to you guys, but I will go to sleep and set an alarm to get up and go to the midnight buffet.
I got someplace to be.
As always, Jaci Russo, you can check out the blog. Well, we just talked about refreshing your brand. It's razorbrandingblog.com. Every Monday. Thanks for joining us, Jaci.
And next week, we are going to talk about Facebook and why you should not be buying likes. The damage you can do to your brand by paying for those likes on Facebook.
Interesting.
Which is happening a lot locally all of a sudden.
Ponder that. It's 7:46 at News Talk 96.5 KPEL.